Have you ever stopped to think about our relationship with time? I mean, really think about it. We're surrounded by it. Clocks, calendars, it feels like this constant river just carrying us along. But for all that, we spend so much of our energy fighting it, don't we? Wishing it would speed up, or maybe just slow down a little bit. We get so excited about new beginnings, but we live with this quiet, deep-down fear of the final page.
It's a really human question, isn't it? Why do we push back so hard against change, even when we know something isn't working for us anymore? You know that feeling, the end of a job, a relationship, or even just a phase of life. There's this dread that comes with it. It feels like a loss, like something is being wiped out for good. So we resist. But what if that whole fear is based on a huge misunderstanding? What if there's another way to see endings, not as a dead end, but as a beautiful, necessary part of a much bigger, eternal process? To even begin to explore that idea, we'd have to look at a figure who, honestly, seems to embody everything we're taught to fear, the Hindu goddess Kali. I mean, just look at her. She's dark, she seems destructive, she's nothing like our usual comforting ideas of the divine. There's no gentle smile or soft colors here. Instead, she just presents us with this challenge, an enigma, a kind of terrible beauty you have to be willing to look at to understand.
And right there, that's the central mystery we're going to unpack. Why would a spiritual path that's all about finding peace and enlightenment embrace a figure who looks like the very definition of death and destruction? It just feels like a massive contradiction. But, as we're about to see, behind this intimidating exterior lies one of the most powerful and frankly liberating philosophies about time, change, and who we really are. Her gift, it turns out, is a way to look directly at what we fear most and find our freedom right there in the middle of it all.
Okay, so to start unraveling this, we have to begin with her name. In these ancient traditions, names are never just random. They're like keys, and the name Kali holds the first and maybe the most important clue. Her whole identity is woven right into the fabric of time itself.
So the Sanskrit word for time is Kala, and Kali, she's simply the feminine active form of that word. This is huge. She isn't just a goddess of time, she is time. She's the moving, breathing, dynamic energy of time that is in charge of everything. She's the force that brings everything into existence, and, without a single exception, the force that dissolves it all again.
You know, this is such a profound shift from how we usually think. We tend to see time as this abstract line that we're all traveling on. But in this worldview, time is a living, conscious energy. It's not something separate from us. It's the very stuff of our experience. It's the beat of life, the feeling of our memories, the pull toward our future. It's what we're made of.
And this is where it gets really personal. This brings it all down from some cosmic, abstract idea right into your own body. Kali, as time, isn't some distant god. She's the pulse in your wrist. She's the life force, the prana, that animates you with every single breath you take. Think about it, that steady, constant rhythm of your own heart. That's her dance. The in-breath is creation. The out-breath is dissolution. It's a little cycle of life and death happening inside of you right now, in this very moment. When you get that, she stops being this external thing to worship and becomes the most intimate process of your own life.
So if Kali is time, and time always involves endings, then we really have to look closer at how she shows us what endings are all about. And this is where her fearsome appearance stops being terrifying and starts becoming a kind of symbolic map, a guide to understanding what transformation really is. Every single thing she holds is a lesson.
This is a fundamental law of the universe. You can see it everywhere. A seed has to be destroyed for a tree to grow. Old leaves have to fall for new life to show up in the spring. See? Creation and destruction aren't enemies. They're two sides of the very same coin. They're part of one single action. And Kali represents this powerful, unavoidable truth. She is the force that clears the ground, that breaks down the old, stuck structures so that something new, something more alive can finally emerge.
Now, let's look at probably her most shocking symbol, that garland of skulls. At first glance, it's just horrifying. But it's not a trophy. It's not about her kills. It actually represents all of us, every creature, every form of life. It's a completely honest reminder that anything born in time will also die in time. And that's not meant to be morbid. It's a symbol of unity. It tells us that this great cycle of birth and death, it applies to absolutely everything and everyone, no exceptions. And in that shared reality, there's a really strange kind of togetherness. Okay, and what about that severed head she holds in her hand? This might be the most misunderstood symbol of all. That head, that's the ego. It's that little, limited sense of I, that's so full of opinions and fears and attachments, the eye that walks around thinking it's separate from everything else. Her sword? That's the razor-sharp blade of wisdom, that flash of truth that cuts right through the illusion that we're separate. So the death she brings isn't physical death, it's the death of ignorance. She's cutting away the prison of our limited self to show us the boundless, amazing reality that was there all along.
And this just reframes our biggest fear completely. In Kali's world, death, whether it's the death of a moment, or an old identity, or even the body itself, it's not a final wall that you just crash into. It's a doorway. It's the point where the limited form dissolves back into the formless, eternal source that it came from in the first place. It's the only way to reveal what has no end.
So this idea, this understanding of death as a doorway, it leads us right into the very heart of what a practice like yoga is all about. The transformation Kali is asking for isn't about the body. It's a deep, deep psychological and spiritual one. It's the courageous path of willingly letting things go.
And right here is the core shift in how we see everything. On the surface, what she does looks like destruction. Just, wiping things out. But when we understand that what she's actually destroying is our bondage, our attachments, our fears, our limiting beliefs, then that very same act of destruction is revealed to be an act of profound liberation. She doesn't destroy you. She frees you from the little cage of the self that you mistook for your entire being. So, how do you actually practice this? It's summed up in this incredible phrase: to die daily is her daily worship. It's a meditative practice. It means every single day, you consciously let go of the things that are holding you back. It means letting go of yesterday's anxieties, tomorrow's worries, the petty grudges, the habits that you know aren't good for you. Every night, you just offer them up to the fire of your awareness so that every morning you can be born fresh. It turns your whole life into this constant process of renewal.
Okay, so now you can start to feel how all these layers are starting to merge, right? What seemed like all these separate ideas, time, death, ego, they're all coming together into this one incredible vision. We're starting to see that her form isn't just a random collection of scary metaphors. It's a complete map of reality itself. And it reveals a kind of love that is fierce because it's absolutely uncompromisingly true.
Let's just step back and look at the whole picture. Her dark color isn't evil. It represents the infinite, formless void from which everything comes, like the deep night sky. Her energy is often compared to lightning, that sudden, brilliant flash of insight that just cuts through all the darkness of our confusion in an instant. And that famous pose, standing on the body of Shiva, this is so important. Shiva represents pure consciousness, still, silent, not doing anything. Kali is Shakti. She's the energy, the life force, the power that makes that consciousness show up in the world. Without her, consciousness has no expression. You see? They're two sides of one reality, the eternal and the ever-changing, and you can't have one without the other.
Now here's a really challenging idea. Kali is beauty, but it's not a soft, comforting kind of beauty. It's the overwhelming, terrifying beauty of absolute reality. It's a beauty so immense and powerful that it makes all our small, temporary human achievements look, well, pale in comparison. It's that feeling you might get when you're looking out at the vastness of the ocean, or up at a sky full of stars, that feeling of awe that's so huge it's almost scary, because it just dissolves your sense of your own importance. That is the beauty of Kali.
So, this is it. The whole cosmology in one single image. You have Shiva, the eternal, unchanging foundation of everything, and then you have Kali, the dance of time, change, life, and death, that moves on top of that eternal ground. She is the universe in motion. She is life. And that life force, that dance, it includes both the beginning and the end. They're not two different things.
And so we arrive at the final and really the most important part of this journey, the shift that happens inside of us. By walking through her symbolism, by facing the things that seem scary and understanding what they really mean, we can make a fundamental shift in our own lives, a shift from living in fear of endings to finding a real sense of freedom right in the middle of the flow of time.
And here's the ultimate paradox, all wrapped up. It's only by fully embracing the reality of endings, by truly accepting that all forms are temporary, that we can start to feel that part of us that isn't temporary, the part that time can't touch. By letting go of our tight grip on what is changing, we discover what is eternal. The goddess of death is the one who shows us what can never die.
So it becomes really clear. The great sacrifice that Kali asks for is not your life, it's your limitations. She's asking you to offer up your fear, your ego, your desperate attachment to things that are, by their very nature, going to pass away. And this is her fierce love. It's like the love of a tough coach who pushes you way past your comfort zone, not to hurt you, but to help you realize how powerful you really are.
And this isn't just some ancient, dusty philosophy. The great 19th century saint Ramakrishna Paramahansa, one of the most famous modern teachers, he was a devoted worshipper of Kali. For him, she wasn't a figure of fear. She was the Divine Mother, the most direct way to liberation. His whole life showed that the path to enlightenment isn't about avoiding darkness and difficulty and death. It's about going right into it with love and understanding and finding the light that's hidden there.
And so the final question isn't about some distant goddess. It's about us. It's something to take with you. If Kali is the force of time, always clearing away the old to make room for the new, well then she's active in your life, right now. Just look quietly at your own experience. What old belief, what outdated habit, what fear-based attachment is time asking you to release? What needs to be let go of, not as a painful loss, but as a liberating offering, to create the space for the person you are truly becoming?